Hey, what's good? It's been more than 1 or 2 months since my last video. Yikes. I know, it's been a long time. I've been looking at some horror games on Roblox. Roblox horror games have been known for kind of being bad in my opinion. Sure, there are a lot of great Roblox horror games, but I haven't really found ones that genuinely have had my expectations shattered. Mainly due to the fact that a lot of Roblox games kinda suck with the plot and story, and also use a lot of very cheap moves in my regard. Some of them make the game completely unfun to play in certain scenarios.
Stop standing in the
It's kind of really why horror games have been dying nowadays. A lot of them have gotten stale and feel like they have the same format of gameplay. I can name at least 5 games that revolve around loud sounds to have any sort of scare factor. What, don't believe me? Frigid Dusk, Subconscious, Housebind, Weird Strict Dad, and the entirety of the Experience series. Not saying these games are, entirely bad because of this. I still had fun playing these horror games, despite its many flaws. Nonetheless, having a horror game be based entirely off of jump scares is a pretty negative downside. With all that being said, I found a pretty obscure and underrated horror game that I see not too many people talking about. The game is Construction.
spoiler alert, asterisk, watch this if you've already played the game or just don't want to play it, asterisk.
Also subscribe if you want to. Construction is a really underrated psychological horror game made by Wowzy. I'm sorry, Wowzizzy? Okay. The design of the game is what I consume based off of the early stages of Roblox, around 2006 and 2010. The game currently has only 1 chapter. Things are bound to change, so take the criticism in this video with a grain of salt. The premise of the game is that you're a player exploring a game. I know, crazy. There are these NPCs that have a design really inspired by the game Push Oofs Off Skyscrapers. Only that the designs are stretched and feel really uncanny. You find and collect these eyeballs, which opens a gap in the wall that reads, "Free them." Everything is gone now, so you have to go through a door that, gotta be honest, I don't think the NPCs could fit there. At all. Besides that, there's a lot of exploration. There are puzzles and parkouring, and even a carrot angel. Very cool. I'm not gonna go too much in detail, because I still want you to play the game yourself. However, this video is still gonna contain massive spoilers. Now then, I'm gonna divide this review into 3 categories. The niche, the nah, and the narrative. Let's get into reviewing. The game is really good and well made in my opinion. It has a really good atmosphere, something I think a lot of modern horror games in Roblox lack. It really plays into the feeling that even though you're surrounded by a ton of NPCs, they all feel lifeless and just there with no purpose. The background noise playing makes you feel a sort of unease. It feels like something is moving around you. It really complements the already liminal feeling of the hallways and areas. It isn't entirely lifeless though. The game does a really good job at making certain things feel alive, which brings you a sort of comfort from all the psychological torment of walking through the hallways, with the occasional BGM that makes you sometimes jump because you feel like something is approaching you. The feeling of unease is also amplified once you get back to the same area, only to find nothing. Everything's just completely vanished. Like it had been erased or was never even there to begin with. Here's the best part, no jump scares! I mean, duh. It's a psychological horror game. It's nice not having your ears be completely destroyed because you accidentally stepped foot in the wrong path. Hold on. It does scary just right, without having to use cheap Sonic.exe jump scare, which is just a blood-curdling loud scream, which hurts physically more than mentally. Despite that though, the game still has its flaws. The game is really boring sometimes. Now, besides the really good atmosphere and the great use of psychological tricks paired with the uncanny feeling of the lifelessness of the map, there's not really much to do in the game. Yeah, you solve puzzles, but oftentimes you're just walking around in a really big area, unsure of where you're supposed to go. I'd say a lot of the time I spent playing this game was just me wandering around, figuring out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. Which leads me to another problem. This game is confusing. Sure, there's a lot of exploration in this game, I respect that, but with no sighting of which way I'm supposed to go at all, I often found myself, with 1 hour of, playing this game, wandering into dead ends. There's this one place in the backyard which had a hole in it, but I never saw the hole because the game was so dark and the hole really blended in with the grass. So I had to, use a walkthrough to find out where to go. Multiple times. The puzzles in this game are really confusing. I had to do a code puzzle and also do the stuff with a camera droid, which I thought were really nice puzzles, don't get me wrong. The problem with them was that I had to figure out what the puzzles was even for. I had to find a 4-digit code with a massive door. To find the code, you need to look for these papers, which have a number on them. However, because these papers were pretty obscure, and because I thought I would need to travel all the way back just to find it, I just decided to search a walkthrough for how to get the code. Pretty niche that the code was a reference to The Last Guest, so I give a point on that. Now that you're nearing the end of the video, let's get into the final category. There are some things I haven't talked about in this video, maybe because, they aren't that important, or I've just forgotten to mention them. Now, construction, in my opinion, is still kind of flawed. Does that make it a bad horror game? No, not really. There are a lot of things in this game I think does right, that some horror games don't. You don't have to make an entire game centered around jump scares or having a scary entity chasing you in order to make a horror game, horror-like. I also appreciated the many ties with old Roblox culture as a whole. The NPCs, the game references, even the sounds and the design of everything. It feels nostalgic in some way. Despite that, there are still some things that definitely need changing. There should be some way of guiding the player, and also less long corridors, dead ends. It just sucks when you have to explore an entire area of the game only to realize that you have to, go a different area in order to continue playing the game. Little indicators like arrows will do just fine. There should also be more things happening. A lot of the game is just exploration, which is fine, but I found myself walking and, not really doing anything for the majority of the game. They should definitely add something to keep things more interesting, but not too much to the point where the game just feels like I'm being spoon-fed as a toddler. Here's the final question. Would I recommend people play this game? Of course. I've never had a better experience playing a Roblox horror game than I ever did in a long time. Minus the NAS. It is just awesome how Wozizi managed to make a game feel so both alive and dead, despite it being a single player. As I said before, the references to old Roblox media is genuinely great, and I love seeing modern Roblox games be based off of or have reference to old Roblox media. If I could go back to before I found this game, I would tell my past self to play this game. That's the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and make sure to play this awesome and very unknown hidden gem of a game. Goodbye.